So to summarize, the 3 things you're going to look for: someone's got to be approachable.
Approachable.
Someone that's not going to handball you off to their assistant.
Absolutely, that's a huge one.
And product knowledge.
Product knowledge
and
is
that
huge.
ties into what you were saying, which is going to lead to my next question as well. Is overquoting still a massive problem in the industry?
It's a huge problem. I think it's one of the biggest problems in the industry, and a lot of agents do that. And I'll actually tell you a bit of a story about what happened in one of these situations. So for those out there that don't know what overquoting is, I'll explain it. Overquoting, like Matt said, an agent will go into a property which they know is not worth what they say it's worth, but they say it's worth that anyway to get the homeowner to sign a sales contract with them, knowing full well that price is not achievable, right? Just flat out lying. So this actually happened to one of my clients about 6 or 8 months ago. So an agent went in from a big company, I won't say who they are because they'll probably sue us, promised this person $900,000 for their property in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, but we do sell everywhere. We sell north, south, east, west, guys. And they said, look, it's worth $900,000. I can get it for you easily, no problem. That property was worth $750,000. So this homeowner believed it. They went out and they purchased another property. So they went out and actually bought it, another one, in a different area, expecting $900,000 for their property. They didn't get it, right? They didn't get the $900,000. Of course, they ended up getting what it was worth market value, right?
On the dollar, what he said.
On the dollar, what I said is what they eventually sold the property for. So now they were in a situation where they put a deposit down on another property of $100,000, and they couldn't get the finance because the bank said, you don't have enough money, you didn't sell your house for enough, we're not going to approve your finance. Bang, deposit gone. Lost it. Just like that. And that's what happens for all the agents out there that do this. Don't do it, because you will actually ruin people's lives. It's not a funny thing. It's not clever. It's actually really, really a disgusting thing to do.
But when an agent gives you an estimate,
yes,
they've got to provide you with comparable sales in the area,
sometimes they
right?
do, yeah. But sometimes what agents will do is they'll just falsify it, right? So as an example, there'll be a 3-bedroom, 2-living area home sold down the road, but mine's a 3-bedroom, 2-living area home as well. I should get the same price. What they don't say is that other house was renovated, had stone bench tops, it had hardwood floors, it had a spa in the back, fully landscaped, and yours is an original. From it was new.
These agents, they're basically preying. They're preying on the emotions of that person.
Yeah.
So as soon as that person says, I want 700,000, I want this figure for it, they'll go, yep, done. I can get that for you, because they just want to keep getting yes, 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 and have a good conversation. They don't want to have the conversation on the spot saying, no, that's not the price you can get, and being honest with them. A lot of people, their model is actually quite deceptive. Yeah. They overprice it. They charge them for the marketing, and then after 3 or 4 months on the market, they're just continuously trying to bring the property down, the price down. But most of those agents, they are from bigger agencies. They're not running their own business. They're getting paid, some sort of retainer or some sort of wage. So they just want listings on the market to show their boss that they're actually doing something.
But
guys like us, we don't just want to put a listing on the market. That's how we get paid. We want to get it sold. So we're not worried about that $750 per week from our boss. We're the boss. We want to close that house and we want to get it sold. So basically, we'll tell the truth from the beginning to the end, because it's all about word of mouth and referrals. You burn somebody like that. If you say 800 and then they sell it for 700, that's a bad experience. Yep. They'll tell everybody about it. Nobody will refer you again, and it's just they're doing business for one time. We're doing business, for people's for the length of people's lives. We've sold 3 properties, 4 properties in one family, and that's what we like to do. So it's all about building that solid relationship and building that trust, a brand that can be trusted.
And for us, it does work. I'm not going to lie. We have lost business to other agents that do overquote before, but more often than not, they don't sell the property, and that client comes back to us in 3 months and says, "Hey, look, they lied to me. You guys were telling the truth. Please help me now." Yeah. Happens a lot.
It's like everything in business. I'll get people that tell me they can get a sign done for $300.
Yeah, rubbish.
And I'm like, go get the sign done. They call me back 6 months later and
can you please do the sign?
Yeah. So it's like anything, you get what you pay for. But
absolutely.
There's some pitfalls there that, having bought and sold a couple of properties in the past, I think that people need to be made aware of, especially overquoting. That's a very dangerous, very dangerous thing. And you've relied on that money to come through, and then people start celebrating and saying, "I'm going to go on going to go on a world tour because I've got X amount surplus and things like that.
They don't care about the business situation. They don't care what's next.
Yeah.
They're just worried about trying to get that listing.
Trying to get a listing.
Get that sale. Like, I always tell people, if you want 650 and I think I can get it, I'll say, what are you doing next? Like, how much do you need out of this? And then I'll tell them, like, work your figures of 600, but I'll try and get you 650, just so they're safe. I won't, promise them the world, and then at the end of it, they're out of pocket and they lose money because of you, because that's just not the right thing to do to people. Yeah, it's the wrong thing.
All right. So tell me, what do you guys do to unwind? What do you guys do for fun?
Wow, what do I like to do for fun? My thing is actually, you can't tell right now because I haven't been working out, but I love working out.
Yeah.
That's how I unwind. Usually, I just go to the gym and smash the weights. 6 days a week. I try to. Before COVID, of course.
Yeah.
That's my thing, and I love a cold beer at the pub in a beer garden. You can find me on a Sunday, 4:30 in the sun with my
after the opens
with my cold pint of Carlton Draft. Simple. On the weekend. That's my thing. I just love like friends and just chilling like that. That is my big thing, and obviously the gym. That's how I. But actually, I actually just bought a PlayStation recently because of things are a bit slow. I bought a PlayStation, so I've been getting into that as well. So I've been playing a bit of. I actually never played Call of Duty until about 2 weeks ago. Yep. Believe it or not, all of my friends played it, and I was like, "What is this game?" I'm sure everyone's played it, but I was like, "What is this Call of Duty? This is like a crap game." And I bought it, and I was like, now I get it. Now I see why everyone's got their headsets on and yelling at 13-year-olds. It's a good game.
I've got friends that finish work and they get home at 7 o'clock and they play till 12 o'clock at night, like 5 of them talking.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
Crazy.
That's probably like my thing. Not you, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's gym, being outdoors, going for a nice drive in my car on a nice day. Not that we've had many of those at the moment, but that's pretty much it. But I don't need much of a break because I love what I'm doing, and I love real estate. I love the job. So the more busy I am, the more satisfied I am, because that's what I'm trying to do, trying to be successful and trying to run a successful business. So the busier, the better. So downtime is not always it's not my number one priority. Yeah. So, but when I am, it's definitely the gym. That's for sure.
Okay. Last question. Give me your 2 picks individually. Mm-hmm. So, I am a first home buyer in the market.
Yep.
I'm looking to buy.
Yep.
And the second pick is for an investor. Mm. I'm looking to expand I've got one house already. I'm looking for an investment. Mm. Where should I buy?
Where should you buy? Well, for me, I would say if I was an investor, I'd be looking anywhere where I can get a bit of land. If I could get it, of course, as close to the city as possible. But if you can't get it close to the city because it's not in your budget, then anywhere where there's transport, obviously.
Say 650.
650? Do you want an actual suburb?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the southeastern corridor, so down the Monash Freeway, the southeastern freeway, is actually the fastest growing corridor in the state, I believe. So anywhere along that freeway, any of the suburbs surrounding it is where I'd probably be looking at if I was a first home buyer. If I was an investor, probably around the same kind of area, but I'd just be looking for land, because end of the day, houses go down in value. It's the land that goes up in value. So that's what I'd be looking for, the land. Yeah.
I just find, I think that Cranbourne's overpopulated. That's my opinion. Whether it is or it isn't, but I try to get out there.
There's a lot of land that's still available as well there.
Maybe it's infrastructure.
It's going to get even fuller.
Yeah, look, as an investor, myself personally, I probably wouldn't be going towards any of those suburbs where there's a lot of land available.
That's a bit too far. I think for me, number 1 and number 2, first home buyer and investor, it just falls into the same category. A good property is a good property. That's how I consider it. So anything in the inner suburbs is quite expensive. If you can afford that, you can. But I think anything in the outer suburbs that is a corner block, and that is a block over 600 squares, I think
for the potential
you're looking for the money, because it's a first home, and then you never know. One day a builder could knock on your door and say, "Hey, I want to buy this block for 100 grand more," or maybe one day in the future you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
So the corner block, preferably with a house all the way to one side or the other.
So you
That's what you're looking for, but they're few and far between, but definitely try to look for those if you can.
Yeah, but you are right about the areas like Cranbourne. For me, if I was investing, just for me, I'm not talking about anyone else out there, I would steer clear of your suburbs like that, you know, the Cranbournes, your Clydes, those kinds of areas, just because there is just too much.
There's an oversupply.
There's just too much.
There's too many people building
there. Is it true that the developers are holding on to the value? Like they're controlling?
They do control it, yes.
Yeah.
So they only release X amount of homes?
They release things in stages, usually.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's always more expensive than what they advertise it at. You know what I mean? Those blocks you see on the TV are the ones under the power lines. You know? Those cheap ones.
Yeah.
The good blocks are obviously not that cheap. Yeah. But I'm sure you know because you know the area.
Yeah. So suburb 650.
650. Look, if it was for me.
Yep.
For me, I like your Endeavour Hills. I'm talking about in the southeast, where we are at the moment.
Yep.
I'd say your Endeavour Hills is a pretty nice area. You know, you're at Dandenong North, that kind of
I'd
thing.
say Hallam would be the one for me
Hallam,
in that price range to find something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Hallam.
What does 650 get you in Hallam these days?
Nice house. Four bedroom, 2-car garage, 2 living areas.
Nicely renovated as well. Good size block.
Nice house.
Yeah, 600, 650 block.
There's a lot of good properties out there to be had at the moment. It's definitely a good time to buy if you're thinking about buying. Hey, call us now. It's definitely a very good time. Interest rates are very low.
Yeah.
It is, you know, Australia is a very stable country.
Is it hard to get finance at the moment?
It's challenge. It can be challenging. It can be. I wouldn't say it's hard, but the bank is definitely looking at everything. You know, I had somebody tell me that the bank was looking at their Netflix subscription. You know, like how much do they pay for Netflix per year? So it's coming down to stuff like that now. I mean, they kind of have to do that because they just got, you know, in trouble with the Royal Commission.
They're looking at everything. They're looking at spending habits as well. Like they're looking at people's afterpay transactions. So if you're a person, they can see that you've gone to the TAB or a lot of takeaway food, or you know, you've got a sports bet account, things like that. They're taking all those type of things into consideration to check your risk. So you have to be kind of straight edge now. It's a bit harder, and you need a little bit more of a deposit as well.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that the banks are overreaching, but it is what it is.
Well, I think that might just be because of the coronavirus. They want to make sure that people have jobs and you know people can still pay going forward because it's an unstable kind of time. We have to wait and see what happens. The market's constantly moving and evolving every day. So
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, bro.
That was a very informative.
It was fun.
Podcast. We'll have to do it again soon.
Absolutely. Everyone out there, thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll drop the links to Babet Brothers so you can follow these guys.
Thanay you so much, bro.
Stay ahead of the game and keep up with what they're doing in the $1 coffees.
$1 coffees, gym, and real estate. That's it, nutshell.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Take care.